I was packing my carry-on for a weekend trip to Geneva when I received the message. Hi, honey. Your dad and I are thinking of keeping Thanksgiving simple this year. Just us, Clara, and the twins. Hope you understand. I read it twice, then set my phone down on the polished counter of my Pier loft. The corner of my mouth curved into something between a smirk and a sigh, not surprised. Just resigned. I'm Isabella Lane, 35 years old, and have long accepted that in my family. I'm a footnote, a muted presence behind Clara's spotlight. She's the younger one, the perfect one. Married, 2 children, a colonial estate in Connecticut, and a husband who sits on 3 boards. Meanwhile, I built my own interior architecture firm from the ground up, won national awards, and was featured in 2 design magazines. Yet Mom only wanted to discuss Clara's redesigned kitchen backsplash. Sure, Mom, enjoy your quiet Thanksgiving, I replied. My fingers were steady even as something sharp lodged in my chest. But if anything, their message confirmed a truth I'd quietly embraced. Back in September, I closed on a restored farmhouse in snow-white clapboard cedar beams, surrounded by birch trees and a ridge of snow-tipped mountains. 8 bedrooms, a stone hearth, and a kitchen designed to host laughter. I wasn't going to spend the holiday alone. While my immediate family faded into selective silence, my chosen family had never failed me. Aunt June, who cheered at my high school art show. Cousin Leo, who FaceTimed me from every new city just to share it with me. And my best friends, people who never needed a reason to show up. I invited them all. The responses poured in. Aunt June, I'm crying. We'll bring pies and board games. Leo booked. This house looks like something out of a film. Alina, I'll bring mulled wine and playlists. Let's make this magic. 17 guests, every room filled. I planned everything: snow hikes, fireside poetry readings, a chef-prepared feast, and a night under the stars with stories and wine. Then, Saturday morning, another message, maybe. You can come for Christmas if Clara's schedule allows. I absolutely laughed. Still conditional, still fitting me around Clara, but not this time. I've finally given myself what they never could see at my own table. I didn't bother replying. Instead, I poured my energy into final preparations. The staff at the farmhouse had everything under control, but I still combed through the details. Every bedroom was set with personalized welcome baskets, local maple syrup, wool socks, handwritten notes. I'd finalized the itinerary: snowshoeing through the woods, a sleigh ride across the open fields, and a cozy movie night in the great room with cider and blankets. I even hired a local photographer to capture candid moments throughout the week. Then, exactly 1 week before Thanksgiving, my phone rang. Isabella, sweetheart, Mom began, her voice syrupy. I hope you're not too upset about Thanksgiving. Claire's boys have just been so high energy lately, and you know how your father gets when things feel too chaotic. I stood barefoot on the porch, watching frost glitter across the treetops. Don't worry about me, Mom, I said evenly. I won't be alone. A pause. Then, surprised, oh, are you spending it with coworkers or something? The disbelief in her voice almost made me laugh, as if I couldn't have a rich, fulfilling life without their plans. Something like that, I replied coolly. Actually, I've got some arrangements to finish. Isabella, you're not working through Thanksgiving, are you? You know how we feel about. Goodbye, Mom. Give my best to Clara and the boys. I hung up just as Aunt June's SUV turned up the gravel drive, trailing soft dust in the golden light. She and Uncle Walter had driven in from New Hampshire, arriving a day early to help. Ella, this is breathtaking, Aunt June said, embracing me warmly. They really have no idea what they're missing, she whispered. I smiled. They're about to find out. Uncle Walter whistled low as he walked through the main room, taking in the pine beams and floor-to-ceiling windows. Can't wait to see their faces when the photos go up. Neither can I said. The next few days were a joyful blur: cousins with partners, children playing in the snow, old friends arriving with pies and laughter. Every night hummed with warmth, joy, and the easy comfort of belonging. On Thanksgiving Eve, we gathered on the terrace under golden string lights. I raised my glass. To family, I said. To the ones who choose you not out of obligation, but out of love. Glasses clinked in unison. Tomorrow would be unforgettable, not just for us, but for those who chose to miss it. What my parents didn't know was that their quiet Thanksgiving was about to get a little noisier. Once they saw what they'd missed, Thanksgiving morning At the farmhouse was everything I had envisioned, and somehow more. The scent of freshly baked cinnamon rolls mingled with the savory warmth of roasted turkey, rosemary, and sage drifting from the open kitchen. Our private chef, a culinary genius from Burlington, had designed a menu that blended rustic Vermont charm with holiday tradition, maple glazed root vegetables, cranberry burrata tarts, wild mushroom stuffing, and spiced apple cider steeping. By the hearth, laughter echoed through the timber-framed home. My younger cousins shrieked with joy as they raced around the stone fireplace. The dining table lined with flickering candles, handmade pine cone garlands, and cloth napkins tied with twine looked like something out of a magazine spread. My phone buzzed. A text from Clara. Happy Thanksgiving. Mom asked me to check if you're doing okay by yourself. We could FaceTime later if you're lonely. I glanced around. Aunt June and Cousin Leo were arranging the charcuterie board. My friend Alina had taken charge of the mulled wine station. Uncle Walter was outside, building snow forts with the kids, while others swapped stories and laughter over board games. Lonely? Hardly. Thanks, but I'm quite busy. Actually, enjoy your quiet. Celebration, I typed back, slipping my phone into my pocket just as the photographer arrived. He moved through the house like a gentle observer, capturing the kind of joy you can't stage, unfiltered laughter, amber sunlight streaming through the windows, steam rising from mugs clutched in mittened hands. He showed me a preview on his camera. These could be in a winter editorial, he said. It's magic here. Just afternoon, my phone rang again. Isabella, sweetheart, Mom began. Are you sure you don't want to swing by for dessert? Clara is making her famous pumpkin pie. I stepped onto the balcony, the scent of pine and roasted chestnuts wrapping around me. Below, Uncle Walter guided my little cousin down a snow-covered hill on a wooden sled. Actually, Mom, I'm hosting Thanksgiving lunch right now. Can I call you back? There was a pause. Hosting? Where? Where are you exactly? Oh, I replied, I bought a farmhouse here back. In September. Silence. You bought a farmhouse in Vermont? Why didn't you tell us? I exhaled slowly, watching the wind stir the pines. Why would I? You've made it clear my life doesn't fit into your version of what matters. I looked back inside at the glowing faces, the full table, the warmth. Besides, I didn't want to disturb your peaceful Thanksgiving. If you've ever been overlooked, underestimated, or quietly building something no one saw coming, hit subscribe. Because the next part of the story? That's when the photos go public and everything changes. Who are you hosting? Mom asked, her voice wavering between confusion and disbelief. Oh, just the family. I answered casually. Aunt June and Uncle Walter. Cousin Leo and his whole crew, Alina, Tara, and the rest of the cousins with their kids. I let the words settle, soft but deliberate. Basically, everyone except you, Dad, and Clara. Silence. Actually, I went on. They've been here all week. I could almost hear her breath catch. A week? Yep, we've done wine tastings, snowshoeing, baking classes, even wandered through the village shops. It's been incredible. The pause on our end crackled, brittle and sharp. But they always come to our house for Thanksgiving. Things change, I said gently. Sometimes people go where they're genuinely wanted. That's not fair, Isabella. We just wanted a quiet. I need to go, I cut in. The photographer is about to take group shots, and Chef Elaine is plating the first course. I ended the call. A soft knock came at the doorway. Aunt June stepped inside, cheeks rosy from the cold, a twinkle in her eyes. Let me guess, she said with a knowing smile. Catherine just realized what she's missing. I nodded as she pulled me into a warm embrace. Good, Aunt June replied, firm and sure. Maybe next time they'll think twice before shutting you out. The rest of the afternoon unfolded like something out of a dream. Chef Fame presented a 5-course feast that married Vermont farm comfort with elevated mountain cuisine. Maple brine turkey, truffle-stuffed mushrooms, butternut squash soup topped with sage oil, and a cranberry brioche bread pudding that even the kids begged for seconds of. Each course flowed with carefully chosen wines from the Champagne Valley. Laughter rose above, the candlelight in clinking glasses. We dined beneath a canopy of twinkling string lights as the sky blazed in sunset shades of amber, plum, and coral. And in that moment, I wasn't thinking about who hadn't shown up. I was thinking about who had. My phone buzzed again. Clara's. Text, Mom's missed calls, and even one from Dad sat unanswered on my phone. Instead of responding, I let them linger as though untouched by Ethel Dagger's name. I chose something different that evening, listening to Cousin Leo retell his outrageous band stories, watching little Grace sneak a third slice of tart, and laughing as Nadia tried to toast without knocking her glass over. The photographer drifted quietly among us, capturing not just our smiles, but the feeling of being rooted in something real. This wasn't simply Thanksgiving, it was hours later, after the table was cleared and the stars scattered across the sky. I finally unlocked my phone. Buried in the missed calls was an odd notification. Clara has added you to her close friends list. I smiled, already knowing what tomorrow would bring. When the photographer's images spread across social media and cousins posted reels of our mountaintop gathering, they'd see it all. Every piece of it, but that storm could wait. Tonight, I had what mattered most. A family who chose me, who chose to be present, who chose connection over duty. That was the gratitude I carried. The morning after, the scent of warm maple scones drifted through the cabin as muffled laughter spilled into the frosted firs. From my balcony doors, I saw cousins huddled on the deck with steaming mugs while children tumbled through the snow, building forts and pelting each other with snowballs across the glittering meadow. My phone buzzed without pause. The photographer had delivered the first batch of photos overnight. As I expected, the posts had begun and they were stunning. One shot framed our golden hour feast beneath lantern light, mountains rising dark behind us. Another caught the children bundled in scarves, chasing sleds down gentle slopes. Candid frames revealed wine glasses mid-toast, hands reaching across the table, unfiltered joy lighting every face. June posted an album called A Thanksgiving to Remember with a caption that read, "When one door closes, another opens, sometimes in the Green Mountains." Thank you, Isabella, for reminding us what family really means. The comments came quickly. Old neighbors, church friends, even country club members I hadn't heard from in years. Most were kind, some curious, and a few sharp. "Where are Catherine and Robert? Why weren't you there, Clara?" "Clara called first. Why didn't you tell me?" she demanded, her voice caught between irritation and disbelief. "A farmhouse inn. Vermont, everyone was there. Mom's losing her mind." "Like how you told me about your 4th of July party," I said evenly. "Or the twins' birthday. That's different." "No, Clara, it isn't. You 3 built your bubble and—" "That's fine. But I built something better." In the background, one of her twins began crying, softening her tone. "Mom's devastated. Her friends won't stop asking. The Kowalskis even canceled Christmas dinner with us because they accepted your New Year's invite." My eyebrows lifted. I hadn't announced any New Year's plans, yet apparently the family had done it for me. "Well," I replied simply, "I guess Mom finally got the quiet holiday she wanted." Clara fell silent. Then, in a whisper, "It was boring. Dad fell asleep during the game, the kids were restless, and Mom just kept checking her phone. It wasn't—" She stopped. "It wasn't what Thanksgiving should be." "No," I said, sliding my phone into my sweater pocket. "It wasn't." I stepped onto the deck where laughter and warmth wrapped around me like a second coat. Uncle Walter was gearing up for a snowmobile ride through the woods. Aunt June and Cousin Tara were sketching out a trip to the winter markets. For the first time in years, I felt whole, like I wasn't missing a thing. The kids argued between building a snow fort or hiking the covered bridge trail. Someone floated the idea of a picnic by the frozen lake. That's when my phone rang. "Princess," Dad said, his voice softened into that familiar tone he always used when he wanted something, usually on Clara's behalf. "Your mother and I have been talking." "Dad," I said gently, watching through the frosted window as Uncle Walter helped Grace with her boots. "I'm about to head out on the snowmobiles. Can it wait?" "That's just it," he replied. "It's what?" "We wanted to discuss family, unity, and finding our way back to each other." I shifted slightly, watching my true family wrapped in scarves and laughter as they planned yet another unforgettable day. "Your mother's very upset about all this," he said. "I'm sure she is," I answered evenly. "But you know what, Dad, I've been upset for years." Silence. Every time you skipped my milestones. Every time you dismissed my career. Every time Clara's life took priority. The difference is I turned that pain into something beautiful. But now you're planning Thanksgiving, even buying a farmhouse without telling me? Like the holidays you arranged without including me, I asked. Doesn't feel so good, does it? Another pause. This one heavier? No, he admitted. At last, it doesn't. Enjoy your peaceful weekend, Dad. I have to go, Uncle Walter's waiting. I ended the call. What followed was a snow-dusted blur of joy. Snowshoeing through quiet forests, fireside wine tastings at a mountain, vineyard cooking spiced percolettes and Vermont-style venison stew with a Burlington chef who told the best stories. The photographer caught everything: sled rides, snowball fights, late-night debates, glowing family dinners. Our feeds lit up, and so did my parents' phones. Where's this farmhouse? Why weren't you there? Isabella planned this. The daughter they pushed aside had suddenly become the headline. A week later, as cars pulled away and the last hugs lingered, Aunt June squeezed me tightly. We'll try to get invited to Christmas, she whispered. I nodded. It's already booked. Oh, she asked, pulling back. I'm taking everyone to my chalet in the Swiss Alps. Her eyes widened. You bought a chalet? Last spring, I said with a grin. New traditions, right? Later, standing. Alone on the snow-dusted deck, I watched dusk settle over the hills. My phone buzzed another message from Mom. Honey, about Christmas. Your father and I have been thinking. I left it on red. Let them wonder. Let them finally feel what it's like to be on the outside. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't noise, it's distance. It's growth. And as I breathed in the sharp Vermont air, already imagining the crisp slopes of Switzerland, I knew with certainty I never spend another holiday as an afterthought. Again, if you've ever been overlooked, left out, or quietly building a life no one believed in, leave me a comment. Tell me what you're creating. Remind yourself of your worth. I spent years waiting for a seat at someone else's table until I realized I could build my own and fill it with people who truly see me. Subscribe if this story resonates. Share your thoughts, your lessons, your love, because sometimes the quiet ones carry the loudest. Truth. And if you're still waiting for your moment, don't create it.